Hello, I'm probably riding my bike. You're probably wondering who that incredibly handsome guy in the opening credits is. Yep, it's my twin brother, he's in town. If you've been watching my other videos, you already knew that I have a twin brother, an identical twin brother who has identical twin sons, and I also do too. Pretty wild seeing as identical twins aren't hereditary and don't run in the family. If you don't believe me, you can just look it up on the internet. It's nice to have him back in Seoul. He came last time back in 2009 when I was a newbie. I'd just arrived.
We'll go right here.
And he said this time it feels like a completely different place. Seoul doesn't even feel like the same city that he came to. It's changed a lot, but probably I live in a different neighbourhood and I've changed a lot and I know a lot more to show him now. People often ask when they find out that I have an identical twin brother what it's like having a twin. I don't know what it's like not having a twin, but mostly it's pretty cool. When you're growing up as a kid, you always have someone to hang out with, someone to talk to and someone to play with, and someone to ride bikes with as well. Back then in the small village we lived in, we could just go out roaming on our bikes, going and exploring, just the two of us, occasionally knocking on friends' doors. I didn't need to knock on my friends' doors because I just had my friend with me in my house. We always got on pretty well, luckily, because I don't think all twins do automatically. When we were younger, we had similar tastes in music and the same friends and a lot of similar interests, and we both love bikes. But I think our music taste has departed a lot from each other over the last years. There's still some crossover though. Growing up as a twin, you get a lot of the same experiences with different people and their reactions of seeing that you look the same or very similar. I know it's always out of curiosity, but getting the same questions over and over again is pretty annoying. One of the funniest ones is, are you two related? I think it's quite obvious that we are. We get a lot of the classic twin questions like, can you read each other's minds? Can you feel each other's pain? It would be cool to be able to read minds, but we definitely can't read each other's. Do twins run in your family? Who's older? How can we tell you apart? Who's the evil twin? A lot of people think they'd love to have a twin because they think it would be fun to swap places and play tricks on people. We never thought about doing that. We just liked being ourselves. We never felt the need to do that kind of thing because looking the same was just our reality and not a game. It didn't really bother me that much when people would mix us up and say the wrong name, as long as they were trying. Some people just didn't even bother and just got it wrong all the time. We had a primary school teacher who used to call us 21 and 22 interchangeably. What a dickhead. The teacher should be the one trying hard to get to know you. As teenagers, we tried really hard to be different to each other. We were both quite independent and wanted to go our own way, but still be close at the same time. But try as hard as we could to be different, we still both ended up being dads of twin boys. I still pinch myself every day. It's so cool as a dad to see the bond that my sons have, that me and my brother had when we were babies too. It is quite a special thing having someone that you share DNA with. And it's nice that we can both relate to our sons and their experience of being twins. But I'm conscious of pushing my experience and my thoughts of what twins are like and how they should be on my children. Having a twin brother is the best, but there is one thing I really hate, which I'll share a bit later in this video. First, it's a triumphant return to somewhere I haven't been to for about 8 months. A place I used to go to almost weekly, or more, before I became a dad. It's HPC Coffee. A must visit on a bike ride with my brother in Seoul. To meet all my good friends here. Wholesome, friendly and awkward interactions with some translations. My Korean gets pretty good when I'm only speaking Korean, but switching between is something I find a bit more tricky. It's funny as an adult when your adult friends who've known you for years as you meet your twin brother who you grew up with. When you're growing up, you always come as a package and people associate you together. You're just you. As always, outside HPC Coffee, there's a load of cool bikes. Quite an assortment. And I sold these bar mitts to my friend. They're super warm, but I don't like the restrictive feeling of having them. And I kind of get too hot with them on. Kokohyung has this beautiful breadwinner road bike, which he swapped to upright bars for comfort. Good choice. Here to have a very nice collaboration with Manhattan Portage as well. Some nice kind of messenger bags with some reflectors on them. I picked up this little one for my new cameras. It was good to catch up with friends, and I really loved them meeting my brother. The best friends, when they meet my brother, they just easily embrace him with just no overreaction. It must feel kind of strange meeting someone who looks just like me. It's nice that they just keep to themselves and don't just keep on talking about how weird it is. And that brings me to the thing I hate about being a twin, and I hope my sons don't hate. It's being treated as one person because you look the same. Even now, some people ask if my sons have their own personalities. Of course they do. They're two separate humans with their own brains and their own minds. DNA has some factor on some things, but doesn't dictate how you think and feel. I think that's why we pushed so hard to be different when we're growing up as teenagers, because so many people treated us as one person. But it does come with its amusing moments too. Like, I remember waiting for the bus in Manchester, and there was a guy frantically waving at me across the street. I had no idea who he was. It turned out he was a good friend of my brother's. My brother recently got a message as well, asking if he had a brother riding around in Seoul on bikes, because he'd seen my channel and thought we looked quite similar. Another subscriber asked if my brother had visited Bath with his twin sons, because he'd also seen him there as well. Also on this trip in Korea, my brother visited Magpie Brewery in Jeju, on Jeju, which is owned by a friend of mine, who messaged me saying, "This is really weird. There's a guy who looks just like you who also has twins in the brewery right now." He might have thought I was having an affair and had started a secret family with another pair of twins. A wholesome ride out to HPC Coffee and back. We took turns on the bikes, and he rode the Atlantis out and the Susie back. He said he preferred the Atlantis, which I kind of expected with the city riding, but I just wanted him to try the Susie anyway. That's a bike that really comes to life when you take it off-road. We didn't have time to try out all of my bikes. Hopefully he can come back and we can go for a trip in the mountains, maybe with the Susie and the Clem. I wasn't sure if we'd make it out on a ride while he was here, but we gained some bonus time earlier in the weekend when our wives went out for a few hours while we looked after our sons. Usually when I go out walking with my babies, everyone just stops and talks about how cute they are. And when it was the six of us, they kind of looked a bit scared and taken aback by the three pairs of identical faces. I think they initially thought cute, and then they realised there were six of us. Anyway, we gained some time to go on the bikes without our kids, and we had just enough time to stop at my favourite cafe, Travertine. And a glorious day to sit outside and have a coffee, even though it's late November. Looking back, I think this was my last coffee outside of 2025. At the time, you never know it's your last one. Now back to the chaos and joy of an apartment with a pair of 2-year-old and 6-month-old twins. And late 30-something twins as well. This video was what I love and hate about being a twin. I mostly love it. I would never change it. And I feel super privileged and lucky to be a dad of identical twins too. My brother's gone back to the UK. It was good to be a duo again. But now I'm back to being Marcus, or probably riding, as you know me. Probably riding my bike around Seoul, drinking coffee and eating delicious food. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.